Copenhagen have dominated Danish football in the 2000s, winning 15 league titles. They're a regular face in Europe, but just never really feel like they're competing. And we want to change that. With a player like Delaney being their best academy product, it shows they can produce high-level European talent. But that is an area we definitely want to focus on. But we have to keep it realistic. So experienced, talented players will be crucial. They're known for structured intensity, and we want to make Parken Stadium a difficult away day for Europe's biggest teams. So over these 3 seasons, we want to dominate the league, produce youth talent, and become more of a threat in Europe. So if you love hyper-realistic, in-depth career modes, this is the perfect place for you. Subscribe and get ready as Copenhagen hopefully start to dominate Europe. And this is how our team looks at the start of the first season. As you can see, there's a couple familiar faces. We have Delaney, Danish legend. We also have unrealistic, who you might know from his time at Southampton. So there's definitely some talent in this squad, and it's our job to nurture it and take them even further than they currently are. And we did have a budget of 11 mil, but now it's down to 7 million euros, which is still good. But it's because we spent 4 mil on this 5-star scout to look for a Danish winger to join our youth academy. Because as you can see, looking back at this team, on the left-hand side, we're set. Robert, I really like as a backup. Achuri is starting in real life, and Larson is good, but the backup for the right-hand side is basically non-existent. So I feel like that's a perfect position to get a youthful player and to get some minutes. And I have looked into them in real life to basically see who's been getting the most minutes, who's been performing and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to keep it as realistic as possible, especially for season 1. So I think this team is a good combination of those things. And this is what the player roles are looking like. As you can see, we've got Elyanussi on a classic 10 wide, and then Leriger on a deep line playmaker, because I had a look at the heat maps, and Elyanussi drifts a lot out to the left, and Leriger kind of fills that space on the right-hand side. So in the league, when we're trying to dominate the ball a bit more and stuff like that, I feel like that combination of those 2 players could work really well for us. And you would have noticed I said in the league, because Copenhagen are also in the Champions League, and this is how we want to line up in those games, because we're going to be the underdog for most of those fixtures, and we want to make it difficult for those teams to visit us, for us to go there. We want to, get some draws, some last-minute winners, stuff like that. Basically, we want Copenhagen in the league to dominate teams, dominate the ball, make it difficult. But in the Champions League, we want to make it difficult in a different sense, where it's just so hard to break us down. And there are a few players I'm excited to be using. Firstly, Jordan Larson. He's had a very good season so far, and he is 28, so he should be in his prime right now. So for the first couple seasons at least, hopefully he can carry on the form he's got in real life and produce some big moments for us. Obviously, Elyanussi is probably the most talented player in this squad, and at 30, he needs to be delivering for us, and he's got some experience around Europe, so hopefully in the Champions League as well, he can help us out. And Mokoko's a weird one. There's obviously been a lot of talk about him, but he is now at Copenhagen. He's had a mixed career there so far. This season especially, he has got some goals. A lot of it's off the bench. He gets starts here and there. It's inconsistent, but because the captain, Claesson, is now 33, there's definitely going to be an opportunity for Mokoko to take that starting spot if he performs good enough. But in terms of signings and sales for season 1, in terms of sales, we're going to try keep hold of literally every single person. We want them to have a chance to let us perform. And the squad isn't crazy deep anyway, to the point where we need to let go of people. So everyone, they have a job for at least 1 more year. And obviously, we're looking to bring in a winger into the youth academy. So actually, signing-wise, spending money, the only position I can see is potentially a younger DM that is just more depth, can offer some talent in there, be one a bit more for the future, because obviously Delaney now is getting on a little bit at 33, and so is Leriger. So a younger DM, I think, is the only sign-in or sale we're looking to make in this entire first window. And we've made that one sign-in, and it's Alonso Nguanda from the Dutch league for 4.5 million euros. He's only 22 years old. He's 5'7". He's got speed, but he's also physical as well. He's going to be solid defensively. He's got decent potential. He can grow, and he fits the system whether we play the 2 DMs in the league or whether we go 4-4-2 in the Champions League. If he starts performing for us, there's no reason he can't play in both of those 2 systems. He's not going straight into the starting 11 yet. He has to prove himself, especially only at 22 years old when we've got so much experience. But that is the only change, I guess, we're making to the squad. This is how we're lining up. Obviously, this is how we're going to be looking going into league games. You've seen the Champions League formation. I feel like that's going to be key for us. We can't get over the top with our ability. In the league, we are going to be one of the best teams. In the Champions League, it's going to be a lot of defending. But I feel like the tactical change will definitely help us deal with that. So there's nothing else to really do. We're going to spend the rest of the money on negotiating new contracts, the youth academy, and hopefully at the end of the first season, we'll have another league title and maybe make it out of the Champions League phase. And we did manage to win the league in season 1. Won it by 6 points in the end. Only lost 3 games in the playoffs, which isn't fantastic over 10 games. And in the regular season, though, we only lost 2 games, winning 13 out of 22, and won it, I'd say, relatively comfy. In the Champions League, we did miss out on even getting to the playoffs, finishing 27th with only 7 points. But like, we were only 1 point behind teams like Arsenal, a couple points behind Chelsea. It could have been a lot worse. We did win 2 out of 8 and got a draw in there as well. But we were scoring a lot, but we were conceding way too many. That 4-4-2 structure in theory should have worked. And this is how the team's looking at the end of that first season. There's obviously been a couple changes. Mokoko's now become the starting striker, and Ngwanda has moved into the DM, with Delaney becoming 72 rated. So a lot of games we did play Laraga there instead. But other than that, the team is unchanged. But Robert, towards the end, he did kind of become a starter. I'm not going to lie to you. He really impressed me in game. And the front three just felt a bit more energetic with him on that left-hand side. But yeah, look, Mokoko in 23 league games got 17 goals, 2 assists. And in 8 Champions League games, 5 goals. Larson as well, 15 and 6, and 4 goals in the Champions League. But obviously, we scored so many goals. That's not really a surprise there. And Clayson did nothing wrong at all. It's just his age, and he went down to 68 rated. As you can see, he got 12 goal involvements in 11 league games and 3 assists in the Champions League. His performances weren't terrible, and if we did play 2 strikers in every formation, he would have got way more games. But with Mokoko, with the energy, performing how he did, it did end up just making a bit more sense to start him. But Robert, he's 21, Brazilian, with an English name. I like the look of him, and I think next season, because of the potential, and I just really liked using him, I think he might be our starter. And we have been given 14 million euros to spend this summer, and we're definitely going to look to bring in a little bit more experience. Just looking at this team, there's a few areas I think we could do with some more players. Firstly is right back, not to start, because Huescas is absolutely fantastic for us. But beyond him, there's only really Suzuki that can play there, but I like him as a backup centre-back who could potentially break into the starting 11 because of his age. The other position is El Yanussi. He's 31 now. He's absolutely fantastic. But beyond him, we do have Maatsen, but he's now 27. I'd like a younger option to get some minutes and potentially grow just for the future of the club. And then maybe other than that, not a, a position-specific player, but just some European experience. I'd like someone that has done it in the Champions League at the highest level in the biggest leagues. I'd like to sign someone like that as well. As you can see, we've got Vestergaard from that youth academy for the winger spot. 80 pace, 5-star weak foot, 18 years old, 68 rated with a lot of potential. He could definitely be one to watch with his orange hair and pink boots. In terms of goals for this season, they're very similar to last year. We've got to win the league again, that's for sure. In terms of Europe, we've got the qualification for Champions League. So if we do make it into it once again, we've got to at least make the playoffs. So the top 24 spots, I think it is, that's got to be our goal. And if we're signing, experienced players and some more talent, I think that's definitely reasonable. And we've invested a lot into coaches this season, mainly into defense. And we're going to have a rethink of the tactics for the Champions League as well, because we were conceding way too many. But either way, we spent a lot of money in youth last year. We spent a lot of money in coaches this year. We're trying to set them up for the future as well. If we do well in the Champions League or Europa League over this 3 seasons, they need to be able to handle that increased level of success. And stuff like coaches and youth are going to be so important. But I think it's finally time we bring in those players. Christian Eriksen has joined. Is it realistic? Maybe not. Maybe it isn't. But for 2.5 million euros, I couldn't say no. He has so much experience. He's so technically gifted. And he's probably not going to be a starter for us. He's not that high rated, as you'll see in a second. But Christian Eriksen, his depth in the Champions League, in the league, with bringing him back to Denmark. I mean, I just had to do it. And they brought in Bijmo, not sure how you pronounce it, 2.8 million euros as a backup right back. And finally, a young attacking midfielder in Asp Jensen for 3 million euros. So everyone costs between 2.5 to 3 million euros. And that's all the players we're going to be bringing in this window. And you see though, Bijmo is versatile. Right back, right mid, centre back, 84 pace. But Christian Eriksen, man, 45 pace, but 82 passing at 34 years old and 74 rated. It's just fun using Christian Eriksen. If I'm not going to lie, it might not be realistic, but I know I like to keep them realistic. But when Christian Eriksen comes knocking, you've got to let him in. I can't wait to see what he can do for us. And then Asbjørnsen as our young attacking midfielder, 20 years old. He can also drift out wide or play a little bit deeper. With 68 as his rating, but he does have, good potential. He's 6 foot tall. His stats are quite all-rounded, but obviously his passing and dribbling are going to be his best stats. So with the new coaches we've got, if we get him on a good development plan, there's no reason that he couldn't grow to low 70s this first season and then have a bit of a breakout year. I think it's a sensible signing. And with him being Danish as well, it's not too crazy. So to be fair, none of those signings really affect the starting 11 massively, but I don't think that is what, we needed. We need more depth and more experience and more youth for going into Europe and stuff like that. So in terms of the league starting 11 like this, obviously there will be games where it changes. Maybe Eriksen comes in for Lerega and stuff like that, or even El Yanussi. That's absolutely fine. Stuff like that will happen. But the Champions League is where this is going to change. Because this is how we're going to be lining up in the Champions League. We're going 5-4-1. Way more solid defensively. Leraga's dropping into centre-back. That's where Eriksen gets the start. In the Champions League, we're going to need those moments of magic. And Eriksen, he can definitely provide that. Him and Ngwanda. Because Ngwanda can do the running for him and defensively as well. Moukoko, he's a bagsman for us. So he is going to be a bit isolated. We do have Robert on one side and El Yanussi on the other. So they can definitely support him going forward. And the fullbacks are definitely capable of overlapping and stuff like that. But I think defensively, we should hopefully anyway see a big difference this year in Europe. That's my aim anyway with this different style of formation. Maybe a bit more defensive and just hope we can score off set pieces and, stuff like that. And the only player we're getting rid of is Cornelius, the backup striker, 430,000 euros. It went for the money, but, we just didn't really need him at all in the situation we're in at the minute. So that is our transfer window shut for the second season. So going into this season, can Christian Eriksen carry us to the knockout phases of a European competition? We're going to have to wait and see. So let's get into the second season. And we won the league again, this time completely dominating the playoff scene, winning 8 from 10, winning the league by 10 points with a 17 goal difference in just 10 games. And as you can see, in the Champions League, we did come 20th, which meant we made it to the playoff round where we beat AC Milan over 2 legs. And going into the second one, it was a draw. We were going away from home. Let me break it down for you. So this was literally the Christian Eriksen show. He scored an early goal, which was absolutely lovely. And then from there, he just went on to dominate every single element of the game without failure. He was controlling the midfield, creating so many chances for us. We were on the back foot, but when we got the ball to Eriksen, the game just changed every time. He was playing like a prime Christian Eriksen, and it was so beautiful to be watching. Literally, like the technique on display for so many of these highlights is just absolutely ridiculous. And he sealed it with a last-minute sealer. 2-0, and we beat AC Milan in the playoffs. But then we did lose to Marseille in the round of 16. But we've already seen improvements. We made it to the last 16 teams in Europe this year. And going into our final year, I want to make it to the last 8 or the last 4 and face a team like Madrid, Barca, away from home, and make it difficult for them. And this is what our starting 11 looks like at the end of the second season. As you can see, a lot of these players' ratings have absolutely shot up. Robert's now 77. Clem's moved into the starting lineup as Lerega is retiring now. Their season is finished. He is retiring. Delaney's down to 68. Eriksen was basically in the league, slightly rotational, a lot of bench minutes, not always starts in the Champions League, a consistent face, but the squad was performing so well. Look, Moukoko got 21-9 in the league and then 5-5 in 16 Champions League games. El Yanussi, 16-8 in the league, 6-1 in the Champions League. Larson, 15-4, 6-1. Robert, 8-5 and 7 goals in 15 Champions League games. And Eriksen, 2-3 in the Champions League, 6-6 in the league. He was such a baller for us. He did have a couple, little knocks here and there. That's why he didn't end up playing, every Champions League game. And we had to be careful because of his age and stuff like that. But 7 Champions League games, it would have been 7 starts, and he was fantastic every time he was on the pitch for us. Asbjørnsen, 5-5 in the league, and now up to 73 rated. This young signing might be ready to make his way slowly into the starting 11 for us. And as you can see, we have been given 19 million euros to spend in this final season. Because looking at this team now, it is very good. But obviously going into Europe, and if we want to go further, there are a few areas we could do with improving. So firstly is DM, because we obviously lost Leriger. Delaney as well was retired. 2 of our key players from these 2 seasons have retired. We've got Eriksson. So I think a starting DM is a good option. And also a left back. Lopez is fine, but we could do better. So if there is a left back I find that I think would fit our system better and perform better for us, then I think we will bite the bullet on them. As you can see, we've invested in even more coaches because this is going to be key in making sure they're set for the future. And other than that, I think this is going to be a pretty quick window. We know our aspirations is to go far in Europe and make it 3 out of 3 in the league. So bring in the couple players we want, keep hold of every single player, make sure they're all happy, save some money for contract negotiations, more coaches, youth academy and stuff like that. So I think it's about time we just bring in the players. There's no point wasting any time. We know what we want. We know what we need. So let's go get those players. Okay, we've brought in João Mendes for left back for 1.8 million euros plus Matson because of Asbjørnsen, because of Eriksson. He was 3rd choice for that attacking midfield role, and we needed to save the money where we could. So for 1.8 million and him, I think that's an absolute bargain. And Patrick Berg from Bodo Glimt for the DM role. He's our biggest signing of the career mode so far in terms of rating and stuff like that. 11.5 million. And our current left back, because obviously João Mendes is going to be filling that role, and the backup is still more than good to be backup. So again, saving the money, 11.5 mil is a bit, you know, maybe unrealistic for the signing fee, but Patrick Berg is going to be an absolute game changer for us. Look, at 29 years old, he is such a solid DM that's also okay going forward. So if we get him on that box crusher maybe in midfield, he could be so good. The Norwegian's going to be a star for us, and hopefully in Europe, players like him can be the difference maker. And then João Mendes is pretty similar to our other left back, but I wanted to try something new. Our old left back was fine, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't improving massively. So we just bit the bullet and trying someone that's a similar rating and stuff like that, and hopefully they will excel in the position. Just a little bit of a change up for this final season, a couple fresh faces, and I think that's all we really needed. So with those new additions, this is what the squad is looking like going into the final season. I'm very confident because we've managed to keep hold of some of our key players like Makoko, Robert, El Yanussi. I think we can definitely reach maybe the semis in the Champions League. And if we're in the Europa League, why not go all the way? Why not? We've got to aim big. Our final season in Copenhagen. Let's send it off with a big one. The team is ready. The tactics are ready. We're ready. So sit back, relax, because we're now going to play the final season in Denmark. And we found ourselves in the Champions League quarter-finals, which is our best finish yet, but we're not done yet. We've got a second leg against Barcelona. We drew the first one 1-1 after a last-minute Asbjørnsen goal. So going into this leg, it's not going to be easy, but we've got the home crowd behind us, and I feel like we've got to play it. As you can see in the league phase as well, have a look at this. We finished 11th, but only conceded 6 goals in 8 games. That defensive strategy that we've been trying to get right all these seasons seems to have finally paid off, because we were one of the best defenses in the entire Champions League. 4 wins, 11 scored, 6 conceded. It's been a fantastic run. And we're obviously going with our full strength team against Barcelona. This is what that full strength team now looks like. El Yanussi's moved out to the right because we need his experience in this game against Barcelona at home. Can we make history? Can we get to the semi-finals? Can we cause an upset? It's not going to be easy, but let's get into this one and let's find out. Okay, they've got the ball with Gasardo now. It's going to be so difficult getting the ball off them. We struggled a lot in the first leg, but Ansu Fati's on the ball. They've got so much talent. Oh my God, I thought we'd already conceded. Well, that is actually half-time already, and it's 0-0. Obviously, we haven't really had any form of attack yet, but we've kept them relatively quiet. They've had all the ball. They've had a couple half chances. but we're doing well. Okay, Pedri on the ball now. 55 minutes in, over to Lamine Yamal. He's doing unnecessary skills, and he's warming up for it. He's back on the ball, back into Pedri now. Into Firmino. What can he do with it? He's still got it. He's still got it. Into Fati, into Keane. Moises Keane, back into Yamal. Into... Oh, my God. That is a Barcelona goal, if I've ever seen one. Moises Keane is unbelievable for some reason, and we're now 1-0 down. So I think it's time we make a sub. Christian Eriksen, be our Champions League hero once again. The game's literally about to end. It's Moises Keane now into Lamine Yamal. Unbelievable challenge. They've still got it. It's Firmino. And that is tragic. We're going to have lost 2-0 in the second leg. We put up a good fight, but with players like Yamal, Pedri, like, it's always going to be difficult. We're not watching them celebrate. Let's get to the end of this game. And it's confirmed. We have fallen short in the quarters. But I think the fact that we didn't make it easy for Barca. We got to the quarters. It's an unlucky draw to get. We could have done with a bit of an easier team. We got a draw away from home at Camp Nou. We made it difficult in the second leg, but it wasn't to be. And now it's just time to get to the end of the season. Well, we won the league again, this time by 18 points, and we didn't lose a single game in the playoffs, only conceding 5 in 10. And we didn't concede in the league, which means we went invincible in the entire season. 32 games, not a single one of them was a loss. We only conceded 27 in 32, no losses, and we absolutely dog-walked the league while having a decent Champions League season. And this is what that squad is now looking like. Some of these ratings are absolutely fantastic. Asbjørnsen has really filled into that wonder kid role that we needed him to. Vestergaard's now 73. Mokoko's 85. The squad, it's looking unbelievable. The ratings are fantastic, and I feel like we've definitely done our job here. And in terms of producing talent for the future as well, Xhaka has come through. He's now 22 years old, 76 rated. He got 3 goals in 7 appearances, even a goal in the Champions League as well. So if they do move on to sell Moukoko, if he gets, interest from bigger clubs elsewhere, he can take the reins. We're constantly recycling players, and they're definitely in a good position. But I mean, Moukoko did put up 18 and 8 and then 6 and 5 in the Champions League. He was our best performing player by far. He was so crucial to how we wanted to play. Robert, 15 and 5, 6 and 2 in the Champions League. It's unbelievable numbers from him as well. He is a star for us, considering he wasn't first choice in the first season. We've nurtured him, and he's become an absolute baller. Larson, 13 and 3, 3 and 11 in the Champions League. He had a bit more rotation. Asbjørnsen, 11 and 4, 4 and 3. Only 22 still. He's ready to take the reins. But we've got to appreciate Moukoko, man. He's only 23 still. Well, we think anyway. But he's 85 rated now. Look at some of those stats. 5-star, 5-star. I wouldn't be surprised this year if he gets bought by an absolute joke of a club. But that is sadly where this rebuild comes to an end. And if you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Make sure to comment down below what team needs an LL FIFA rebuild next. I'm going to try and introduce a few more seasons while keeping it realistic and stuff. So make sure to get your comments down below. And until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.